Ladies and gents, strap on your seatbelts because my friends, this one right here, this is a banger. We got our best beginner's guide for the global launch of Metal Slug Awakening. This game, this is it, man. This is the game. This is a lot of fun. So let's go over some tips and tricks for new players on day one of global launch. Thing for our gotcha center, we got two different things we can summon for. We got weapons and we got characters. I personally think that the weapons are definitely a lot better to summon for and use your pickaxes. And there's going to be one main reason behind it. If we head on over to our characters and we look at our promotions, now there's certain features you may not have unlocked yet as a new player. There's a lot of hidden things that show up, like promotion doesn't show up until you reach a certain point in the game. So if you don't see this on your screen, just keep playing and a lot of things will start unlocking, but you're gonna have access to promotions. And once you go ahead and you start promoting your characters with badges, you're gonna get this little like skill tree guide thing going on here. And you're going to need certain weapons in order to activate these special abilities for them. So if we head on over to like one of these characters, you're going to see this one right now is inactive, this nutritional food. Now I click on this, I have no available weapon license. So you need very specific weapons in order to activate these licenses to get these bonuses. So having a wide variety of different weapons is extremely important. Now going hand in hand with that is that the weapons apply different debuffs. So you can see in the top left corner next to where it says the Assault HMG, we have this little icon. If we click on it, we can see all of the different debuffs that can be put on these enemies depending on which weapon we're using. So we have stuff like the wound, we have weaken, we have freeze, and finally we have ignite. And each weapon, you can see this one's got the little broken heart thing, so this is going to be a wound. You want to use a bunch of different weapons that have those different debuffs on it, and you want to constantly be switching between your three main characters. You don't want to just go through the levels with just one character, specifically when you're doing like big boss battles and they have a lot of health on them. You want to be putting as many debuffs on those enemies as possible. So if the three weapons you have equipped on your three characters all have the same debuffs, you're really limiting the amount of damage you can do. So for building out your characters, you want to make sure you have three different debuffs going on. Now, a really important game mode is going to be Hot Pursuit. Hot Pursuit is kind of the thing that determines your AFK rewards. It's a similar feature that's in a lot of games where you kind of have to go through this area, all these different levels, and then as you get through the different levels, you kind of increase your AFK rewards. But at the bottom, you're going to notice that as we clear different chapters, not only are we going to increase our AFK rewards, we're going to increase the level for the gear we can have. So if you're noticing at the beginning, like, why do I only have level 1 gear on my characters, right? If we go to gear, you're gonna have all this level 1 gear and there's no way to actually level it up. You can't like upgrade it with the materials. The only way to have higher level gear is through that Hot Pursuit mode. So you have to come in here, and once you go ahead and you reach those different increments, those different chapter levels, then you're gonna have access to get higher level gear. So right now I can get random level 10 gear. So make sure you're doing the Hot Pursuit as far as you can get in this. So just do as many levels as you can until you get to the point where you're just not strong enough, then start doing the other content. But you're gonna need to constantly come back to this and challenge this anytime you are strong enough to get further in this. It's also gonna let you go ahead and click the dispatch button and dispatch more characters and more weapons as you clear certain stages. And as you go ahead and put more characters and weapons in, it's going to increase your reward rate by a percentage. The next thing that's going to be really important is clubs. Once you go ahead and unlock clubs, aka guilds, you want to get in one that's super active and has a lot of players. Specifically, you want to get one in, if you can, like the highest level possible. So if you see any level 2s on day one, jump into those. And the levels are very important because if we take a look, the levels dictate the store and your technology. So if we head on over to the store, depending on your guild's level, you'll be able to access better rewards to buy from the club store. And also technology too. So as your club level increases, you'll have access to upgrade better stats in this. So right now the club that I'm in is level 2. So I can go ahead and upgrade this. You get a damage bonus or the HP bonus. And pretty much the way it works is the higher the club level, the better the upgrades are going to be for your technology. Also at the beginning, don't be afraid to upgrade the bad weapons or the low rarity weapons, because the game does have a reset feature. It is right at the bottom, right behind me, right there. You see where it says reset. And also when you're upgrading your weapons, try and focus on getting them to like level 20 first, then level 30. So that way you unlock these bonus effects on the gear. So like for this one, the Assault HMG at level 20, we're getting this missile support bonus. Instead of just spreading your materials thin and upgrading each weapon to like level 5, level 10, get one to level 20 first for that bonus. Also in gear, there's one mistake that you can make for your accessories. You're gonna have these exclusive accessories, and if you don't read what it says, you can actually put this on the wrong character. It lets you put it on characters that it won't even really have any serious effect on. So if you read it, it says this one is exclusive to Marco. So when Marco uses his grenade, it does a bunch of damage, blah, blah, blah. But if we go ahead and we put this on like another character, it's not gonna do anything. Like right now, I have this one, the Triple Thunderbolt, which is exclusive to Marco. But if I replace this and put it on Fio, you know, I can put it on her, but it's exclusive to Marco. So it's not going to do anything because she doesn't have the bouncing grenades. Like her special ability is different. She doesn't throw grenades. So this is pretty much useless. So just make sure you're paying attention to that. Don't just kind of put these on the wrong characters. Make sure you're reading where it says exclusive to that specific character and put those accessories on properly. The other thing to do with your gear, once you got a lot of this like level 1 junky gear, just go to the recycle icon in the bottom right and just recycle it. You're gonna get a little bit of gold, and what you can do with that is then go to the gameplay cart, and then we have our challenge store, so we can use those gold coins to buy things that we actually need, like some general core parts to go ahead and upgrade our cores, which we're going to talk about next. You can also go ahead and buy cores, which I say keep an eye out for those. Don't go crazy buying the cores in here, but just keep an eye out because you can see what the stats are for these. So like just come in here and check, and if you see one that has a really good main stat and a sub stat as well, then it's definitely worth buying out. Otherwise, it's kind of random to get those. When we go into game modes, when we do joint operations, which is like the co-op part of this game, this is how we go ahead and we get those cores, and it's kind of just random drops. It's basically a core dungeon, and you just go through it, and it's just completely random. You don't know what the stats are going to be on your cores, but at least with that shop, you can kind of see what the stats are before you buy them. So let's go over the cores right now. So the cores is kind of like a different type of gear. Traditionally, in a lot of RPG games, gear lets you go ahead and have a main stat and a sub stat, and as you level it up, you unlock additional sub stats. The way they did this game is a little bit different. Gear, you're not able to actually upgrade it. It just goes and increases the level based on your hot pursuit chapter level you're on. But the core is kind of like the actual gear where you can kind of build out your characters and upgrade these. So we have our basic core, and like I said, this is pretty much like gear in any of the other gacha games that you've ever seen. They're just called cores instead of like gear. So we have our main stat at the top, which is going to increase every time we enhance this to the next level. That main stat right there is going to increase. Once we get this to level 10, we'll get our third substat. And then at level 15, we'll get our fourth substat. You're going to notice that the greens, they pretty much never have an actual substat show up. And if we click on this, we can take this to level 20 in order to unlock all 4 of those substats. But these ones aren't good because they're completely random and you don't know what they are. So you don't want to invest in something that's completely random. What you want to do is you want to look out for the cores that already have substats showing, so you know whether you want to invest in them or not. Some of these blues, they will not even have any substats showing, but occasionally you will get a blue that does have 1 substat showing. For this blue, you can see this one's actually showing a substat for crit damage res. But these other blue ones I have, like this one and this one, these aren't showing the substat. So if we go to enhancement, we got to get this to level 5 to get that first substat. Whereas the other one, this one right here, this one already had that first substat unlocked. It just dropped like that. So once we get it to level 5, it's going to unlock this second substat. And then once we get to level 20, it's going to randomly upgrade one of those substats. You want to look out for those ones that have tons already on there. So like this purple, I do have a purple one. This has got 2 substats already at level 1. So if we take a look at this one, all we got to do is get it to level 10. And then after that, once we start upgrading it past level 10, so once we get it to level 15, then we're going to get a random upgrade on one of these substats. But you can see this one's pen res and crit damage. So it's okay. It's going to depend on what your build style is. You don't want to invest in bad rolls for your cores. Hey, happy, stay safe. I'll see y'all later. Peace.